Did you get it done? I have to be honest, I didn't quite get it done in time, but it'll be done in time for the photographs. So all good. Just the propeller. And that's because that became a bit more fussy than it should have been. I guess we should talk about it. Welcome to Model Kit Stuff, where you'll find all of this. Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and this is Table Talk, my weekly video where we talk about everything that's going on behind the scenes and what's coming up and all of that sort of stuff, stash ads, builds, all sorts of bits and pieces. So it's a great place to understand what's coming along, what the plans are, what's happening. Got a lot to talk about this week. I say that almost every week, surely. Right, B17, let's start there. So, first of all, a reminder, you've got until Monday to get me your pictures of your B17s from the group build. This is my entry. Just got to put the propellers together. So, I've got the props painted, they just need decals, and then putting on the hubs, and then we're job done. They can be mounted on. I'm happy with it, very pleased with it. It's come together better than the last aircraft I built where I had some difficulties with the turret, so I'm really happy with it. First time I've done a proper, really gone to town on the metal finish. I learned some things I'll do differently, some things I learned along the way, but overall I'm very happy with my metal finish. So yeah. All in all, very good. Not without incident, the build, but yeah, really, really good. Enjoyed it, and I've got to say, it's an awesome kit. I've been seeing other kits that people have pulled together during the group build, and I think hands down the Airfix kit is the one to go for if you're still not built a Flying Fortress. And this is my first ever Flying Fortress, and what a joy it was. And when you consider that it's an older kit now from the Airfix range, and it was in the older plastic and all of that sort of stuff, it didn't pose any challenges. A little bit of fit issues here and there, but minor stuff. Yeah, and a lot of fun to build. So there you go, and that pretty much covers what I was doing on the modelling bench pretty much all weekend and on and off through the week. It became a bit of a rush at the end, more than I wanted. I knew when I set up the group build that I'd be pushed because I wanted to finish the build that I had before I started it, but it was a bit tighter than I'd like. So something to think about for the next group build. Yeah, but there you go. It is all but done, and I am happy with it. It really does look the part. Yeah, really happy with how that's come out. So there you go. It is Thursday night as I record this. It's polling day here in the UK. Now I'm really interested in my politics. I've got an honours degree in politics and history, although in fairness, for 2 of the 3 years I did focus primarily on military history and some of the politics around there. But I did do politics all the time. I went to Northern Ireland. There is a famous professor who gets wheeled out by the BBC fairly regularly, who was one of my lecturers. I remember him clearly. I'm sure he doesn't remember me though. But you know, I've done all sorts of stuff when I was at university with politics, met all sorts of political parties, walked up the Shank Hill at night with the army training guns on you. That's an experience I'll never forget. I think I spent 2 days in Northern Ireland, then a day in Dublin doing Northern Irish politics, and on average I had my photograph taken by the security services 5 times each day. So yeah, a very interesting experience that was. But tonight we go to the election. I think we all know what the outcome's going to be, but we're not going to talk about that because this isn't a politics channel. And I was thinking about it earlier today. I was thinking about some of the comments I sometimes get about plastic kits. Can you imagine the comments I might get if I had a political channel and I was talking politics? No, thank you. No, thank you. We'll stick to model kits, safe as houses. So yeah. A very extraordinary night tonight, and I will be watching it when I've finished filming for you guys, because you guys come first. So we need to talk about what happened during the week. We had a busy week with videos and some milestone events. We need to talk about stash ads. We've got some thanks to give and talk about what's coming up now the B17 is finished. So, lots to talk about. Let's start with the busy old week that we had. So, Monday, we had the big debate. Now, in that video, I said we'll do future ones live, but I hadn't sorted out getting my camera to talk to my computer. Now, I recorded that before I managed to solve the problem, which was before the video went out. So, in the future, they will be live, but I will record the... Sorry, I've just got hiccups. I will record the second part of that. Now, that won't come out in the following week. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the big debate was all about, should Airfix include a little bit more in the kit? And if they did, would you pay a little bit more for the kit? And it was a really interesting debate, and I'm looking forward to sharing the results with you. There is a very, very strong result. So, yeah. And it's not taken me by surprise. And interestingly, those of you that follow Peter Oxley's channel, and those of you who don't should, he also put a video out during the week, coincidentally, of course, talking about value and the value of kits, and you know, whether something's good value. So not focusing really on what the cost of a kit is, but whether it's good value. So you know, you can get 2 models that have got a different price tag. Doesn't necessarily mean that the cheaper one is best value. So it was a really interesting video. It was focused on Revell. Director's cut, he'd called it. So I think he'd done it before. It seemed to ring a bell. But everything he says in there is very true about Revell. Revell, dreadful. But we can talk a little bit more about Revell in a minute. But yeah, lots of you decided to get involved in the debate. I hope when we do it live, there'll be more of you getting involved in the debate. Really, really interesting question. Now, I'm reliably told that someone in Airfix who is fairly important from my point of view does watch my channel. I guess probably occasionally. So who knows? But what we'll do in the second one is we'll put the Airfix hashtag on and stuff, so it might get noticed, and people might hear what the conclusion is and what you guys had to say. So that's coming up. That's what we started off on Monday. And then what did we do? Oh, right. So Tuesday, we had the next instalment of the B17 build. Now, the reason why I've done that is because if we carry on just putting them out on a Saturday, firstly, it's going to be another several weeks before it's completed. And secondly, that's pushing Sean Horst out further and further and further. And I don't want either of those things to happen. So I decided that we'd start just putting some extras out and get it finished in quicker time. Hopefully that doesn't cause me a problem, because as you know, I usually run a 2-build deal where I've got my main build, which is the Scharnhorst, and then smaller builds running along for those people that don't like watching big ship builds and want to see some other stuff. I like to have a bit of variety. I've said this before, I view the channel as a bit like a magazine. So I want to have different things. So if something didn't appeal to someone one week, someone else might appeal to them this week, you know. So yeah, it was very much about trying to get the videos out and get the Sharn horse back in. Now my secondary builds we'll talk about in a minute, and I'm doing them in a slightly different style, and that has a pro. It also has a con, and we'll talk about that as well. So yeah, we did B17.6 on the Tuesday, which, you know, carrying on with what I'm saying about having a bit of an eclectic mix on the channel, so there's a little bit of something for everybody. I hope I took lots of you by surprise with the first impressions on a late 70s bird kit. So the blue tits. But I was pleasantly surprised by the response that video got. People commenting on them, people who remembered building them, people who remember seeing them. There was a very funny comment about if you haven't read the comments under that video, go and read the comments, because there's someone who I forget his name, apologies, and he's a figure sculptor. So he tells me, I don't know whether that's professionally or as a hobby or what. If it's professional, I'd love to talk to you about showcasing some of your products. But he made a really funny comment that made me giggle about, you know, he remembers getting it one Christmas and having the 8-year-old's reaction to the "what the is this you've given me," but actually thoroughly enjoyed the build and probably was more proud of it than some of the other stuff, his tank that he'd built and what have you. And that made me chuckle. And you know what, as modelers, I don't know about you guys, I get the feeling that there are some modelers who like to try and perfect one thing, and they'll build Spitfire after Spitfire after Spitfire to either have the full range of Spitfires or to get this one even more accurate than last time, and to challenge themselves and try and build their ultimate Spitfire. And then there's other people who, like me, who I built a Spitfire, I don't need to revisit that for another 10 years. I want to move on to something else. And the blue tits is very much a something else. Now, I bought that because I thought, firstly, it'd be an interesting first impressions, so I was thinking about the channel. But also, I thought it'd be an interesting challenge to paint that and try and get that lifelike. And my airbrushing skills are better than they were 10 years ago. They're better than they were 5 years ago, if I'm honest. So I've got a fighting chance of actually having a good stab at that, and it not looking like the 12-year-old me's painted it in block colours, and it looked, you know, something you'd be proud of in primary school. So it is a challenge, and I do like a challenge, and I do like something different. And it's interesting that this week my daughter Daisy's been helping me go through the stash and divide the stash up into definitely keeping and, you know what, let's sell it and create some space. And it's really interesting. We'll look at the pile of stuff that I'm going to sell, and I have another 3 kits to sell this week. It's all stuff that's similar to something else, or I know there'll be another release of it in a different format. I can always buy it again. And the stuff that I'm keeping is something that's a bit wacky, a bit different, or has got a challenge, or always a gift. I got some stuff that I got for Father's Day a few years ago and birthdays, and I don't want to get rid of those. But you know, I'm not going to get rid of a mini art bulldozer because that's going to be a challenge. You know, it's going to be a challenge. Individual track links and all that sort of stuff. And I've seen other people build it, and it is a challenge. So I'm going to keep that. 148 jet aircraft from Airfix, you know what, they're going to re-release that, and when they do, it'll be in the new plastic. and we'll have a different livery. And you know what? We can get rid of that one, create some space, generate some funds, and wait for an even better one to come out from Airfix. So that's sort of where my head was with that. But it's interesting. I clearly like something that is very different. And I think that's great for the channel, because there are some channels that keep doing the same thing. And, I'm subscribed to some where the next video comes out, and guess what? They're doing yet another Airfix starter set, the same one that they did a little bit before, but this time they're going to build it differently. Really? You know what? Each to their own, and what have you, and if that works for them, I wouldn't take that away. But I like to do something, I've built that now. You won't see me build another Flying Fortress on the channel in the next 10 years. That I can guarantee. Not because I didn't like it, not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I've scratched that itch and I'm now ready to move on to something else. So, every time I build something, it'll be something a bit different to what you've seen before, one way or another. So, went on about blue ticks along, didn't we? But it got a lot of love, and people liked it. A lot of people saying it's not my cup of tea, but it was a great review. And I think that, it's like those articles you get in a magazine and go, oh, you know what, I'd never build that, but let's just see how they got on with it. Right, okay, then 4th of July, an emotional day. Because it was the end of the Queen Mary 2, and it didn't quite end as I wanted, because I hadn't quite finished it. So noticeably there was an absence of close-up shots of the finished model. That's because it's not quite finished, but I needed to draw a line under the video series. Otherwise it went out the way I wanted to. I showed you how to do loads and loads of different photo etch, including the little tiny deck chairs and bits and pieces. So I felt that the material in that last video covered off everything else, and that you'd seen everything else, and you don't need to see me painting a railing. So I got to the point where, right, there's enough material now, and the kit's complete. It just needs a lick of paint on some railings to say, right, we're done. And so I reached out to Stephen and said, right, it's time to say goodbye to the build. And yeah, I mean, it was an absolute pleasure working with Stephen. The guy's got an OBE, and he's clearly an extremely talented and single-minded individual, and you know what, he's so down to earth, and he's so easy to talk to, and really nice guy, and it was a pleasure working with him on the build. And the build would not have been what it was without him, to be honest. I'd like to think I wouldn't have missed some of the errors, because when I'm building ships, I do tend to do my research. I'm sure I would have got that deck right, but there's other things that I learned along the way that if I hadn't spoken to Stephen, we probably wouldn't have done, and I wouldn't have understood what they were, and that sometimes affected how I built things. So it was nice painting the carpets in some of the rooms. You can just about see them, but just about is enough. If you think about a competition build, what you're trying to do is everything's miniature, and you can't, there's no errors, you can't see bare plastic. This wouldn't score anything in a competition build. I'd like to think that the Queen Mary 2 probably would, because there was nothing left unturned. I mean, it's not finished yet, but there's nothing left unturned. I mean, I couldn't put it in a show because only one side of it's built, in fairness. But yeah, a really stunning build. And you might see something more from the Queen Mary 2. I'd like to do a little video with final shots at some point. It would be nice to sort of have a photograph of this part of the real ship and then compare it to this part of my model and do that sort of thing. Also, I had a plan to put in the photo etch set, the gold medal photo etch set, there was a little figure and I had a plan to put him on. But anyway, I don't think that's the last you're ever going to see of Stephen on this channel. We've talked about some future projects around ocean liners. I invited him to do the introduction for the Scharnhorst, which he very kindly did. So I doubt that it's Stephen's last foray onto the channel. But I couldn't tell you when and what that would be right now. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it was a pleasure, and it was a bit sad to see the build going, because it's been quite a large part of the last 18 months of the channel, half the channel's life really. And when I started the build, it wasn't a build I was planning to do right then, but I'd got talking to Stephen, and you know what it's like when you've got a new kit, and I saw there was an opportunity, and I didn't really want to lose that opportunity. And we did loads of fun stuff, you know, the video talking to the Maritime Museum in Hamburg and all that sort of stuff. We did a lot of fun things, so it was a lot of fun, and it was a bit sad that it came to an end, which is why I chose that shot for the thumbnail of her sailing off into the sunset. I thought that was a nice summary of where I was. It's finished, but it lives on. Anyway, well, I could talk all night about the Queen Mary 2, so we better move on. So last night you will have seen the B-17 episode 7. I think we have two more to do. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to come together, but I sort of have a plan, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, we sort of got to the point where we're going to do the painting, which I think a lot of people were looking forward to. So bear with me, we'll get that done, and then we'll get the pictures out, and that'll conclude our group build. So my most successful group build yet, but surprisingly, we started off with 52, 53 people, and I've only had 7 people send me their photographs. So what happened to the rest of you? Can't tell me that all the rest of you didn't finish your builds. Like I said, if you haven't, send me the photographs of where you've got up to. We've got the subscriber showcase at the end of the year, where you've got the opportunity to show your B-17 completed if you've not completed it in time now. I know 1 or 2 people have dropped off, and that's fine. And I know some of you intend to pick it up and finish it off. So that's why the subscriber showcase at the end of the year is really helpful. But yeah, I need your photographs. Don't think, oh, loads of people are piling in, I won't bother. Take me your photographs. Get your phone out. Take some photographs. They don't have to be professional. You don't have to have a white background. Just take a photograph and share it. You know, we're all, at the end of the day, we're all amateur modelers. Don't mind if your photograph's amateur. It would be nice if it was a bit sharp and we could see the glory of your work. But yeah, come on, get me the photographs. Up to 4 I said, but up to 4 means less than 4 if you need. If you just want to take one, just take one, and email it to me at modelkitstuff@gmail.com. I want to see your B-17s. Right, let's talk about what's coming up next week. Monday, I have a tool review, and well, it's a tool I'm gonna guess 95% of you have not got, and I've used it in anger, and it's really cool. So look out for that on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we could have another B-17 video. Just like the others that were midweek, it won't be a premiere, so no need for moderators and stuff. But yeah, we may have another build B-17 video, or possibly we'll have the next Endeavour video. I've taken my foot off the gas with the Endeavour while I was getting this over the line, so I need to pick that up. I won't be doing anything on it this Saturday because I'm going up to see my mother-in-law. It's been her birthday. She's up in the lakes, so it's a bit of a trek. It's a day sort of round trip. We drive up, spend the day there, and then then we'll drive back sort of thing. So we've got that coming up. I've not seen her for a little while because Paula often goes to see her mum on her own. But I've been complaining I've not seen her mum for a little while, so I'm going as well. And then, so that's that. Wednesday we've got an aircraft first impressions. I have not done one of these aircraft before, but they're very, 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 very popular, 148. And then Thursday might be a B-17 video if it didn't come out Tuesday. So I've got 2 possible slots, depending on when I've got it edited. And then Friday should be the last B-17 build, and we'll close it off next week. Now that's important because the following week is when I'd like to get the group build out. So I might try and get it out the Sunday after next week's table talk. But we'll see, and we'll talk about that next weekend when I've got a better, clear view of what's going on. But that's the plan for this week. Busy as always. Right, now then, let's talk about stash ads, because we got the eagle-eyed of you might have noticed this in the background. And some of you might be wondering what it is. It's been primed, is what it is. Well, actually, it's a hull. Shall we talk about that to start with? So I said last week that I'd added a ship to my stash. And actually, I've added 2 ships and a boat to my stash over the last 2 weeks. So this is the hull you were just looking at. It's the brand new Airfix starter set, the Shannon class lifeboat. I have filmed the first impressions, and you will see that next week. Those of you that know James to Boldly Go Modelworks, he's already done a quick look at what's in the box and started building it. I'm going to be building it as well. We'll talk about that in a mo. So I was really excited to get it. It looks an awesome kit, and I'm really looking forward to building it. But there was something with the kit that bothered me, and we'll talk about that in the first impressions. Airfix sort of took a little side and backward step on one element of the kit, and it bothered me, and it bothered me more so because this is a starter set. And it's aimed at, it's the sort of thing that someone gets for Christmas who's never built a model before, and they're going to open that and build a model. And what Airfix have done, I think, is not helpful. But we'll talk about that in the first impressions. Otherwise, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous kit. I've also got the additional decals because I'm going to do a specific boat. It's a real nice addition to the Airfix range. But before I received that, I got this. Now, I bought this off eBay, 55 quid. It's got barrels in it, it's got wood deck in it, and it's 100 quid of anyone's money, that. So the Schleswig Holstein Battleship 1908. And funnily enough, one of the subscribers was talking to me about it this week, and I was thinking, well, if you only knew what was coming. So I will be filming the first impressions of it. I've been after this for quite some time. Obviously, a ship with a little bit of history. We'll talk about that in the first impressions. I like the sort of pre-dreadnought looking type ships. They've got quirky shapes, and there was this nice time when people were trying to work out what a ship should look like, post ironclad. They sort of went a bit potty and started, guns and funnels and things started poking out of all sorts of things. The French particularly made these very funny shaped hulls and stuff, and they're really quirky, and they appeal to me because of that odd. But yeah, I mean, this is less odd, and it could very easily be a British ship of the time. It's got all sorts of things, but you can also see how German warships have evolved out of some of these things that are on here. That armoured position, the way the guns are mounted. You can see how things have sort of evolved from there into the ships of the Second World War. So yeah, really interesting kit, and I thought, you know, I've been after it for a while, and I was just waiting for the moment to strike on eBay and get a good one, and I was very lucky because nobody else bid on it. More fool them. So yeah, so that's a stash ad. That's a stash ad. We've got another ship that's a stash ad. Very different to those. Very, very different. Show you that next week. Well, I might show you that next week. I might not. It might be in 2 weeks' time, because there is something winging its way to me. And it could be my kit of the year. And I've been waiting for it with a lot of excitement. And one or two sites started pinging up around about Tuesday that they had it in stock. I'd pre-ordered it. Unfortunately, the people I pre-ordered it with, which is Jedlam, the prices are good, but they're very slow at shipping out pre-orders, and other sites will get it to you a day, 2 days, maybe even 3 days before. What was that? So yeah, so I'm getting it a little bit late. I'm expecting it Friday or Saturday, but I'm so excited about it, and I can't wait to show it you. And I'll probably first impression it straight away. So first impressions next week will be that, but I might do an extra first impressions of what's coming in the post, because I am so excited about it and I can't wait to thumb through it. Very, very, very exciting kit. I'll explain all when I get it, and we'll no doubt talk about it on next week's Table Talk. So that's where I am with stash ads. Let's just catch up with where we are with builds as the B-17 has come to an end. So Scharnhorst, that's now going to come back to being built every other weekend, and I can't wait to get back onto it. Build's going so well and I do enjoy it. So I'll be jumping onto that very quickly. I've got now 2 builds on the go. The Bulldog, which I did nothing with this week, so there's nothing new to show you. And now the Lifeboat, because I wanted to, I'd always planned to build that straight away. So I think that can be done fairly quickly. The Bulldog is largely done. There's little bits and pieces to be done, but also the rigging. I need to just think about which way I want to go with the rigging. So what we'll be doing this weekend is probably pushing on with the Bulldog and the Lifeboat. Then the following weekend we'll pick up Scharnhorst again, because I've got material for the next video anyway, and then we can move on. On Sunday, I might go, you know what, I really want to get stuck into Scharnhorst. I might do that and then do this the following weekend. So for those of you new to the channel, I pick up something at the weekend and I work through it that week, any time that I get, and then the following weekend I swap back onto my other projects. So I usually have 2 projects going. It's just that my second project is 2 different kits. No, it's not 3 projects, it's 2 projects with 2 different kits. So I'm clearly back on track with my builds, and we'll go back to a more normal routine with the videos where every other week you get a different build. I like that variety, as I said before. So that's what's going to happen with the builds. I've already started on this. I'm going to do it a little bit differently to how they instruct it with the base. I'll talk more about that when I'm building it. I am going to use the paints in the kit, but I'm not going to build it like a starter. I'm not going to go, right, I'm just going to use what's in the box. I'm going to build it properly using all my skills and tools and consumables that I have, and I'm going to use airbrushes, but I am going to use the paints they supplied, because I think Humbrol acrylics get a bad rap, and some of it they earn. You know, sometimes you get popped and it's gone hard in there, and sometimes it's really thick, and sometimes it's less thick, and there's no consistency, and that is the biggest issue that Humbrol paints have, is lack of consistency. Other paints most of the time you get the same thing, especially if they're not acrylics, but occasionally you might get a bad pot from another brand. But with Humbrol, it can be very hit and miss, and otherwise the paints are great. And if you've got a thick one, that's fine, you can thin it out and you just get more paint. But yeah, there's something in the manufacturing process that ain't quite right, because you don't get the same thing every time. But all of these paints in here are good. I seem to have more paints than is required. It's a little odd, because it tells you that there is 6 acrylic paints in there. Well, I think I got 9 and 7 different colours. So what that's about, I don't know. We'll talk about it, or we do talk about it in the first impressions. I've recorded the first impressions of that. But yeah, the other thing about this is when you do buy this kit, there is a donation of 90p that goes to the RNLI. So I hope they sell them in the thousands, because it's a really good cause. They're saving lives, working class people who are doing a charity. You know, it's not government sponsored anyway. It's absolutely people doing the right thing and doing it extremely well. The other thing you can't do with this kit is weather it, because these things are always spotless and highly polished and look gorgeous. One caveat I will say, if you've bought into the extra decals, is do your research around your boat, because some of these appear to have a white lower hull, not a black. Don't know why that is, but I've certainly seen some pictures while doing my research which had a white lower hull. So don't get it wrong if you're changing your decals. Right then, so that's stash ads. I think it's time for some thank yous. Okay, so the hobby is full of lovely people. I see it all the time, people helping each other out, giving advice and all that sort of stuff. I see it in comments, I see it on other channels. You know, people give me advice and suggestions and tips all the time, and it's massively appreciated. But I also appreciate those that support the channel in other ways. So for those of you who are new to the channel is self-funding, which means that everything that we purchase for filming on the channel, kits, tools, products, the revenue from the channel is what purchases all those. So no revenue, no channel. So I get revenue from the adverts, which is relatively small, much smaller than most people realise. It's funny because my partner Paula works at a school for children with special needs, so ADHD, autism, various learning difficulties, and quite often with other complications, epilepsy and stuff, and all sorts of stuff. And lots of them want to be a YouTuber. That's what they want to do as a career. I can tell you now, most people are never ever going to make a living wage from this. Not even close. I mean, pretty much what I earn in a month from YouTube would cover my petrol consumption for 1 week. That's about it. So, you know, don't think it's a career choice, because it ain't. It's just good fun, and it's addictive. Addictive good fun is what it is. So yeah, so I rely on the income from adverts, and I rely on donations to keep the channel going. And this week I have some thanks for those people that donated. So if you donate in a visible way, whether that be through super thanks, super chat, or through PayPal, which is how most people support the channel, then I will see that and I will give you a shout out like I'm about to do. So obviously with PayPal I get 100%, whereas the other forms YouTube take a cut. So Carson Gortez, I think that's right, or Gortz, probably not pronouncing that right, but a very nice contribution from you, sir. Thank you so much. You don't know how much it means to me. It does go a long way, and there is always some cost every month. You know, we've added kits to the stash that's bought by you for you to then view, and then I might sell it back to you. You don't know. Paul Plastic Monkey has a YouTube channel. We've mentioned him many times. Thank you very much, sir. Then we've got Albert. Now, let me see if I can get this right. Decrescendo. Right, if I got that right, then I deserve a round of applause, because I'm dyslexic for a start, but I'm rubbish at pronouncing things. But Albert, a massive thank you for your donation. Again, greatly appreciated. James Carnahan, thank you very much again, sir. Your donation always appreciated, and the comments that you make on the channel and the general support you give. So thank you very much, sir. And I think that is it. The other contribution came from selling of kits. Now, I'm actually losing money on the sale of the kits, but the way I look at it is they're going to my subscribers, so they're going to a good home. It is generating some revenue, even though you could argue I'm making a loss. It is generating some revenue for the channel, and it's also creating space so I can buy more kits. So all 3 kits from last week have sold, and we've got 4 new ones in. We're going to have to sort that out, aren't we? But we've identified a load more to sell, and we're going to sell another 3 right now. So I am selling 3 kits this week. They're all Airfix kits, as you can see. I'll talk you through them in a moment. What I'm going to do is something a little bit different again this week. I've been looking at the costs of shipping, and I have lost out on a couple of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a minimum price and highest bidder wins. Now, I've got to tell you that although I do say to you, if you want to put a bid in at my minimum price, go for it. Almost none of the kits that I have sold for the minimum price. So just something to bear in mind if you really, really want to get the kit. You know, I'm not expecting any of them to go for their full market value. You know, everyone's always looking for a bargain, that's fair enough. But don't think you're going to get it at the minimum price, because you probably won't. Right, let's start with 172 Douglas C47 Skytrain. This is currently a listed Airfix kit. And the one thing that's really nice about this is in your 2 options, one of them comes with a ski. Which is really, really nice. If you've got something if you are still looking for something to build around the D-Day theme, this will cover you. But yeah, you've also got this this other version here, which is silver with a red tail, which looks really nice. The flying hours are missing, and the bag's been opened because we did do a first impressions on it. So if you want to deep dive into the kit before you buy it, you can go and have a look at that. So a very nice kit, like I say. It's currently listed, and what I'm looking for this is, well, I'm estimating the postage at being about £9. So I'm asking 15 as a minimum, and that includes postage. So £15 posted to you. So offers over £15. Let's see if anyone's interested in that. It is a nice kit, as I recall when we went through it. So yeah, like I say, you're more than welcome to put £15 in and chance your luck. And if you're the only bidder, then you'll get it. And there has been 1 or 2 kits that have sold and then they're only bidder. But like I say, I haven't sold any. I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think I've sold any on the minimum. But anyway, nice kit, 15 quid. Next kit, 1/48 scale, Westland Links says things there. You get 3 paint options in this, including the really cool navy blue one. Yeah, very nice kit. It's a skill level 4. Has a reputation for needing a little bit of modeller's skill in a couple of places, but I'm told by people I know that have built it that it's a beautiful kit when it's built up. And yeah, Again, it doesn't have the flying hours. It's just straight kit. There's no additional extras in there. I don't think. If there is, you've got a pleasant surprise, because I don't believe there is and I haven't checked. Like I say, 3 paint schemes, skill level 4, nice kit. Again, 15 quid, posted, offers over. So, you know, I'm not sure off the top of my head how much this goes for now, but you can get yourself a bargain, buy it and put it on eBay and make yourself some money, whatever you want to do. But you need to offer me at least £15 to get that. Helicopters are popular at the moment, so I'm hoping that someone's interested in that. So yeah, it's a lovely kit actually. When I went through it, I was quite impressed. Again, you can check the first impressions out. And then finally, we've got this, the 148 Bristol Blenheim. Now, this retails at 46 quid plus postage. So again, it's currently still a listed kit with Airfix. It's a skill level 2, so it's a bit more of a simple build. Got 2 paint options. Doesn't have the flying hours, and it's just the basic kit that you get in the box, but it is lovely. 20 quid. Offers over 20 quid, that includes your postage. So yeah, if you want a 148 Bristol Blenheim, it's a really nice model. You know what to do. So send your bids to modelkitstuff@gmail.com. I won't reply immediately, but you'll get a response on the Wednesday, and I'll tell you whether you have won or not. So I will reply to you if you haven't. I don't do bidding wars, so don't come back to me and say, well, can I increase my offer? No. Whoever offered the most originally gets it. Now, a little comment for international shippers. I think I mentioned this first time and probably haven't mentioned it since. But if you're in another country, then we're going to have to add additional cost on for the shipping. And shipping out of the UK to other countries is not cheap. So I did have a conversation with someone about shipping a parcel to Canada. And to be honest, it was just not viable. It's not worth it because the shipping was going to be like more than double what the kit was worth. So it wasn't worth doing it. So yeah, obviously I expect you to pay for the whole shipping, otherwise I am out of pocket. And this is about generating money for the channel. So if you're in another country and you really want the kit, maybe you can't get Airfix kits easily and what have you, quite happy to look at it. I can go onto the Parcel Force website and put in the box dimensions and the box weight and give you a fairly accurate price very quickly. But I'll expect you to cover that on top of the bid price. So think about it clearly, because if you give me a bid and you've outbid somebody, and then it turns out you're in a different country, I'll give it to the next highest bidder, unless you've accepted the additional costs, which I think is only fair. So yeah, there you go. So I don't mind shipping internationally, but it is a lot more expensive. So I think a kit of a similar size to this was going to cost me something like 75 Canadian dollars to send it. So you've got to question whether it's worth it. Anyway, there you go. 3 lovely kits. Help the channel out and get yourself a bargain. So the only other news that I've got this week is that I booked my hotel for Telford. Yeah, Telford show coming up in November, and I'm going to be there for both days this year. My plan is to have sort of a day 1 walk round and possibly make a purchase or 2, and what have you, and then day 2 get my video camera out and really go to town with the filming. That means I'm not being bogged down by having to carry the camera and a load of bags of kits and things and try and manage it all, because it'll just be me. Daisy won't be with me this time. She has a boyfriend now, so I hardly exist anymore. Yeah, so that's partly why I'm going for the 2 days. So I booked me hotel. It's about a 10-minute drive from the place, so not too bad. Prices are silly, but even if you book a year in advance, the prices are still silly around there, because the hotels book up, and the one I've stayed in previously, which was like a very short walking distance to the place, that's booked up pretty much immediately, or maybe even, but a lot of the traders stay there and stuff. So anyway, really looking forward to it. Got it booked, so it's now in my diary. Just haven't decided whether I'm going to renew my membership or not, and get free entry, or what I'm gonna do, because with me going for 2 days, I don't need to get in an hour earlier, do I? And so I don't know whether it's worth it or not. We will see near the time. I probably will renew, but I don't know. So there you have it. I think that is it for this week. Another busy week. It feels like there's been a run of busy weeks. I've got about 3 weeks to get myself straight and get to the end of July, and then it's school holidays. And all things change again for the school holidays. So yeah, busy times, always busy, but having a lot of fun along with it as well. So thank you very much for looking in. I hope you enjoyed that. It's always great to catch up with people. I always enjoy reading the comments as well. There's always nice comments being left. Thanks very much for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and all the nice comments I get. So you have a great week. Enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free, and that way you won't miss my first impressions, my tool reviews, my product reviews, and any of my builds, including wooden model kits as well as plastic. It's all free, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit my PayPal link in the text below. Every pound goes straight into the channel to keep the cameras rolling and to do more fun stuff for you to watch.